Krysten Peak, Danny Green, I'm Jason Fitz, and we're here with you for Yahoo Sports. Excited to get the 2024 Men's NCAA Tournament underway. We're here to break it all down for you. Danny, what are you excited about?
I'm excited about my boys. North Carolina Tar Heels, we're in the tournament, not only in the tournament, but I think we can make some noise. I think this is our year to get it done. I'm excited to watch them play, even though we had a rough ACC tournament, well, not rough, rough championship game in the ACC tournament. I still think this is our year to do something special in the NCAA tournament. So I'm excited to watch them. Also, it's March time. You know, watching all the college games, brackets get busted, upsets. I want to see Duke go home, of course, and all other teams go home that are supposed to be top seeds.
All right, KP, what are you excited about?
Like you said, it's March. This is the best time of the year. You know, you watch all these games leading up to it, and what I love most about this time of year are the upsets. And I think if the conference tournaments are any indication of what sort of NCAA tournament we're going to have, it's going to be a massive amount of upsets, except for one team, and that is the UConn Huskies. The best team in college basketball all season long. You got a healthy Donovan Clingan. You got the perimeter shooting. And I think we're going to see back-to-back champions.
I think this chaos is going to give us the most excitement we've seen in years in this tournament. Everybody's bracket's going to be busted quickly, but I love that for where college basketball is right now and where it's headed. All right, let's get to it. It's time to break down some regions. Let's take a look at the East. KP, we got a lot of drama in this region. What stands out to you?
I mean, we're looking at UConn, the defending national champions. They're the #1 overall seed, looking to defend their title, become back-to-back champions. And they are going to have to go through a gauntlet of teams if they have any hope at the Final Four. They're going to have to go through SEC champions Auburn and Big Ten champs Illinois, who are playing some of their best basketball. So I think they got a tough draw.
And that seems kind of awkward to me, right? Because they're supposed to be the top overall seed. Danny, when you're the top overall seed, you're supposed to get the best draw.
You're supposed to be playing close to home. They are in Brooklyn, but you're supposed to have the easier route. I don't think they have the easy route here. They probably have the toughest bracket in this tournament. I like Illinois and Auburn a lot. With Janai Broom, I like what he brings to the table. Lefty, crafty, can bring Donovan Clingan out the paint a little bit. So I think they could upset them possibly. We don't know, but they should be the team there. But I don't think they're going to be back-to-back national champions. I see them losing to one of these teams in this bracket.
You mentioned Illinois, Auburn. Well, KP, I know you've been hot on Auburn throughout the course of this. They're playing really good basketball right now.
They are the best they've played all season, and they've got a ton of talent. And the last time that they made a run to the Final Four was in 2019 when they were also SEC champs. And these two teams are very similar. I think Bruce Pearl is getting the best out of them. They're healthy, they're athletic, they can spread the floor, and they're really fun to watch.
They're hot right now, too. Danny, take me back to when you were playing. Like, how important is it to sort of be hot at the right time? How much weight do you give that?
I mean, unbelievable. Confidence is everything in this. Obviously, you have to get a little bit of luck. You have to be healthy. But there's teams that are not good or not as good as other teams. If they come in confidently, can make noise or bust your bracket and get to the Final Four. There was times where we played against George Mason. They got to the final. Cinderella stories happen all the time. So I could see a team like Auburn being that Cinderella story, and that's why I do have them in my Final Four.
Yeah, I think in this conversation, too, Iowa State's got a little bit of beef, right? Because the committee's not allowed to put the top overall seed and the top #2 seed in the same bracket. So that tells you they didn't even have Iowa State, who a lot of people thought might get a 1 at one point. They didn't even have them as the top #2. If I'm Iowa State, now granted, I'm looking forward to the possibility of Connecticut, Iowa State styles makes fights, got a dynamic offense against a defense that can throttle down and make basketball ugly. But I don't know, if I'm Iowa State, I don't necessarily love this draw, Danny.
No, I mean, I love it as a fan, but for them, I'm sure they feel disrespected. Just extra motivation. Life's not fair. But this would be the motivation they need to, I guess, prove their point to people that they can upset a team like Connecticut or they face Illinois or Auburn or one of these teams. They can show who they really are.
All right, you've said Auburn or Illinois. I'm going to hold your feet to the fire. Time to get some Final Four picks in. Who do you have?
I got Auburn. I like Illinois a lot. Terrence Shannon Jr. He's a hooper, but Auburn, I think, has the pieces all around, players and talent and team group to do this and get it done and upset a team like UConn.
All right, you're all in on Auburn. KP, what do you think?
I got to go with UConn. They are by far the best team in college basketball. You got a healthy Donovan Clingan who's been dealing with injuries all season long, and a ton of outside shooting with Cam Spencer and Tristan Newton.
There aren't a lot of teams in my mind in the tournament that can come in and say, hey, how do we need to beat this team today? How can we vary what we do? Connecticut's one of those. So I'm with you. I'm taking UConn. So the two of us in on the defending national champions, Danny, the guy that knows the most, certainly Auburn. This will lead to some trash talking. This will lead to some talk. All right, let's take a look at the West, a region that you might have some interest in given the fact that, I don't know, North Carolina's playing. Danny, give us
today.
What are you looking out for in the West?
Obviously watching my boys play. I think they're going to do it this year. This is the year for us, even though we lost in the ACC title game. But I like them, but also think the toughest matchup for them is Baylor. I like the fact or how Coach Drew uses the zone. It's very hard to prep for. I could see them being one of the teams that come out and give them, they have two good freshmen, Jacoby Walter and Eve Missy, another big, good footwork, could do a lot of things. So I think they have a great team, great group. They're just a little young, and I think my boys can take care of business. But I do like Baylor, and I think they're going to give them, with that zone, a tough matchup.
Here's the real question, KP. Are we allowed to pick against you? I feel like he's between us. It feels like this. All right, what are you looking for in this?
Listen, he's going chalk. This region particularly just has upset written all over it. We got Tom Izzo, Michigan State at number 9, who could be facing UNC. That could be an upset. New Mexico, watch out for them. They are so good. They just won the Mountain West. They're an 11 seed. I think they can make it out. And then Arizona, they struggled in the Pac-12 tournament. They're beatable. You just look at this region particularly, and there are so many potential upsets.
You just said Arizona beatable. I think it's one of the things about this bracket that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Some of the better seeds seem like they might be beatable teams. So this is a little bit about the lower seeds being good, but also about, I think, maybe a little lack of belief in a school like Arizona.
And that's why I like my boys that much more in this bracket, because I think outside of them, the higher seeds aren't as strong as other brackets. They're not going to have to face Illinois, Auburn, or Kentucky. They have a pretty good bracket, which gives them a nice pathway to the Final Four.
Yeah, but they are going to have to face, I think, a Michigan State. And look, Michigan State's record, I don't think is indicative of who they've been as a school this year, as a program this year. They played some good basketball. They've lost some tough games to really good teams. Michigan State, Tom Izzo, I like a coach that's been there with a program that's been there. Can we still be friends?
Who do you have in the Final
Okay,
Four?
that's fair. Let's get to our Final Four picks, where I'll admit my hypocrisy because I'm taking North Carolina to the Final Four. All right, let's I folded like a child. All right, what do you got in the Final Four?
Of course, I got Carolina. They're going to be the team to beat, I think, in this bracket. It's the only matchup that I'm a little worried. Michigan State is a matchup that I'm a little bit leery, but I think Baylor is a team to beat for them when it comes down to getting to that Final Four.
All right, so we both have North Carolina. KP, vary it up for us.
I am not going chalk in this region. If we learn anything from the conference tournaments, is that there are potential upsets all over. It's written all over for this tournament. I am going with 11 seed New Mexico, Mountain West champs. They have senior leadership in Jalen Harris. Donovan Dent is averaging close to 6 assists per game. And then they have a star freshman that NBA scouts are really excited to see in JT Toppin.
If that were to happen, they could be the 6th, 11th seed to make the Final Four. So I love this, like chaos already happening right now. All right, time to take a look at the Midwest region where all eyes are on Purdue, or don't. Don't pick them? I don't know. It feels like it's hard for me, Danny, to put the past aside when it comes to any conversation about Purdue.
I'm a little biased. I'm in a Purdue household, so I kind of have to choose them, and they kind of break my bracket every year. But this is the year I think they get a chance to do it. I think they come back, same team from last year, have a chip on their shoulder, get it done, more mature. This is a make or break year for Zach Edey with his draft stock. If he can bring this team to where they're supposed to be, I think he'd be a lottery pick. If not, then I think he'll be looked upon as one of those guys that's not ready or able to change or help an organization on that next level.
Are we forgetting that they lost to Hunter?
I didn't forget.
Fairleigh Dickinson last year. I mean, this is the same group that came back. And so, like you said, they've disappointed you year in and year out. I think they have the easiest run to the Final Four. Looking at Tennessee at the 2 spot, will someone catch them and be able to shut down Zach Edey in the post? Will they go cold from a shooting night? I don't know. I don't have them coming out.
But riddle me this, Danny. Where's the line in all of this between motivation and pressure? Because every single guy in that locker room has been thinking about being that historic type of loss for a year. And what I can't figure out is that the extra juice you need, or is that the sort of thing that squishes somebody in that moment that starts to feel like, oh my God, here we go again?
For my bracket, I hope so. I hope it's that. There's 2 ways on the personnel you go about it. It's all about character and coaching and how they view it. Now, a lot of them said being number 1 last year and losing, and this year again, they might feel the pressure. But if they actually take that loss as embarrassment and go out to prove something, they can use that as another part of their puzzle piece or whatever their mindset and pushing them to have that chip on their shoulder even more, to proving that they're not the same team as they were last year.
What about Biggs? Like, can Biggs win a championship? Like, KP, how many years
Biggs
in a row
can.
do we think? We always say, nah, Biggs. He says it can. No.
I played with Tyler Hansborough. I think Biggs are very capable of winning, especially in the college level. The game is different. There's more back to the basket. It's a little bit crowded in the paint. You can slow the pace down. You can grit out a win. I can see a team like this, making it out. If they can get over the hump of winning their losses, which deep down I don't think they can, but the bias in me has them in the Final Four. But I can see like a TCU upsetting them. But with a same group coming back, it's the same group coming back this year, they should have the maturity to get it done.
So you're taking Purdue. That's
I
abundantly
have
clear.
Purdue.
KP, be a voice of reason here. Who do you have coming out of this?
I'm looking at Creighton, the 3 seed there. They got Baylor, Shireman. They've got Trey Alexander, who decided he tested the NBA waters last year. He came back. He's one of the best guards in the Big East. And I really like Creighton coming out of this region.
Yeah, quality, not quantity for Big East teams in this year's tournament. A lot of conversation about only 3 making them. I'm with you. I also picked Creighton. I think Creighton's a better bet. Like, sometimes we're lumping these Big East conversations together. Creighton can beat you a lot of different ways. So I'm taking Creighton.
I married a Boilermaker, man, so, I have Purdue. But I see Creighton as a very good pick, too. So we'll see how it goes.
Time to take a look at the South region where, KP, I get to be the first person ever to make this joke. Houston, do we have a problem? I'm just saying, what do you think of this bracket?
Well, you look at Houston, the #1 team in that region. They have, first of all, the best backcourt in college basketball with Jamal Shead and LJ Cryer. But they are battered. They went through the season with some injuries. Terrence Arsenault tore his Achilles. You have Joseph Tugler, broken foot, and then right before the season ended, Jerron Roberts is out. So they are beatable, but Calvin Sampson, he's someone that you do not bet against in the NCAA tournament. Guards can really explode in this tournament, and I think Jamal Shead and LJ Cryer is the key.
Isn't it crazy, though, how one loss changes a whole conversation, right? Because
Yep.
a week and a half ago, it was Houston, Houston, Houston.
Yeah.
They got their butts kicked, right? Like,
They got some
I don't know
ideas.
what to do with that.
I love the fact that you said they are batter. We make up our own words here. I did like them a lot. That one loss rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't like how they lost. It's not the fact that they lost, it's how they lost. I like Wisconsin at this top half of the bracket for them, upsetting them. They have a good guard, AJ Storr, 6'7", 17 points a game, who's doing really well for them. They play a swing out, very methodical pace, low turnover team. They play at a low possession. I can see them beating a team like Houston. And this is all, but my bracket on this side, I like Marquette a lot as well. And this is all based off of the health and of Tyler Kolek, and then seeing how well he can stay healthy or get healthy and lead them. If he's not healthy, I can't pick Marquette, but I have Marquette, if healthy, coming out of this bracket.
You're burying the lead here, though. The most important thing we got to figure out is where's Duke losing, right? Like, that's what the whole
And that's why
world
I
wants.
picked Wisconsin.
You're picking Wisconsin because you think they can beat Duke?
I actually like James Madison in that matchup against Wisconsin, upsetting Wisconsin, but I don't think Wisconsin can beat Duke, so I had to pick Wisconsin in order to, they have to advance in order to beat Duke, because I don't think James Madison can get it done.
KP, who's taking Duke down?
I have it the battle of the blue bloods between Duke and Kentucky, and I think Kentucky has all of the weapons in order to come out of this region. They have 7 potential NBA players. They've got Rob Dillingham and Reed Shepherd, 2 of the best freshmen in college basketball this year, getting things done. They know how to, they're not afraid of the big moments. Both of them have also hit game winners this season. And just the balance of Coach Calipari brought in key transfers and has the #1 recruiting class coming in. I think they're the team to come out.
That was my next pick. If Marquette is not healthy, I like Kentucky a lot as well. But I'm banking on a healthy Marquette, who I have making it to the Final Four. For me to beat Duke, the team beating Duke for me is Wisconsin. I like Stephen Crowell, 7-foot big, shoot 45% from 3. I think he can stretch the floor a little bit, and hopefully they send them home early, because nobody wants to see Duke.
I'm like all of America. I think JMU beats Wisconsin, which means they got to beat Duke. And obviously Marquette, Kentucky. I'll agree with you, KP. I got Kentucky going to the Final Four, so we'll see how it plays out. The NCAA Tournament is a maker of stars. So the question is, who will become this year's big breakout star? Danny, who you got?
I got to pick one of my Carolina guys. Harrison Ingram, of course, got to show him some love. Easy to pick. RJ Davis, Armando Bacot. Those guys played well previous years and throughout the whole season. I like to pick an underdog, a guy like myself that plays in that role that could be the X factor, and I think this is the man. He can shoot it well from 3, stretch the floor, and rebounds like a big man, can do a little bit different things defensively. I think we go as far as well as he plays. So I think he can be the X factor and has the coming out party. And I think this year, as a junior, he comes in and does what he's supposed to do and gets us over that hump to being a national champion.
All right, KP, who do you got?
I got Janai Broome from Auburn. I mean, 6'10", junior forward lefty. He is just kind of like you talked about the X factor. He is that guy for Auburn. I mean, this guy had 6 blocks in the last 2 games. And like I said, Auburn's playing their best basketball right now. And he's that high energy guy. And he can get going off. He's so fun in transition, great footwork, great hands. He's going to be a star.
He can stretch the floor, too. He's very crafty. I also liked how he could pass the ball from that elbow action.
Yes.
When I watched him play.
So for me, this is a tough question because as we were talking about even getting ready for this, I think Dalton Knecht in Tennessee could end up being great. I do. But I don't believe in Tennessee to have a long run. So I have to eliminate him from this conversation. So when I think about the way the bracket's going to come forward, that's why Cam Spencer, to me, is probably the answer to this. And I'll give KP some credit because we had some heated debates about this. But when you look at his shooting percentage, particularly against ranked teams this year, you got to be able to shoot from the outside if you're Connecticut and you want to win. So because I think Connecticut is going to repeat, when I'm looking at who the star is going to be, I think there's a real opportunity for Cam Spencer. Even though I love Dalton, I don't think Tennessee can have the run. So for that reason, I go with Cam. We'll find out who the one shining moment superstar of this is going to be.
It's going to be fun.
Guys, I need you to indulge me. I've always wanted to be a game show host, so we're going to play a game, all right? We're going to play a Bracket Madness game. Now, these are trends on Yahoo's Bracket Madness challenge. Get out there, sign up. And what we're going to do is I'm going to give you the percentage of brackets right now that are picking something. You tell me if it's too high, too low, just right. Okay, everybody ready? First one, UConn. This goes to you, Danny. 66% of brackets have them in the Final Four. 34% have them winning it all. Is that too high or too low?
I think that's just right. I think that's where I like their team. They have a good group. They have the makeup to change up the style of play. Whoever somebody doesn't have something going, they can have somebody else get it going. They have all the pieces. Now, like I said, can they do it back-to-back? Can they win their losses this year? I think they're very capable, but I don't think they get it done. But 66% chance, I think they have a really good chance of winning it.
I suddenly made myself the judge on this. It's way too high, all right? It's an unprecedented year. 66 is too high of a number. KP, coming to you next on this. I'm going to give you a couple here. Purdue. 42% of our brackets have Purdue going to the Final Four. That's the 4th highest. 10% winning it all. What do you think?
I think that's too high. And I don't trust the Big Ten. I definitely don't trust Purdue and their track record. And Zach Edey, this is his 4th time in the tournament. This isn't a new player. We know how to scout a player like Zach Edey. So you take away that, then it's up to the perimeter. I don't know if they have it. And are people forgetting that they lost to a 16 seed last year? I mean, having that sort of percentage make them all the way to the Final Four, I don't see it.
Sadly enough, I agree with her. I think it is too high. I hope they get it done for my household's sake, but I said if they take away his style, his play, they're in trouble.
Well, the good news is you got the correct answer. So you get the next question as well. KP is killing this game. All right, we got Oregon over South Carolina. We talk about the most popular 11-over-6 upset right now. 46% have Oregon over South Carolina. What do you think?
Are these brackets all from the East Coast? Did they not watch any Pac-12 basketball this year?
Probably not.
This is way too high. I mean, yes, Oregon won the Pac-12 tournament, but in order to get to that championship game, they played an ugly game against UCLA and barely squeaked by. I don't know where this version of N'Faly Dante is coming from. He wasn't like this the entire season. Does he have the sustainability to have this through the tournament? I don't think so. It's way too high. Do not listen to that.
I think it's a little bit high. I wouldn't say way too high, but I think it's a little bit high.
By the
I
way,
don't believe him that much.
Just behind, New Mexico over Clemson, 45%. Quick thought on that, anybody?
Ooh, she likes
Just
New
right.
Mexico.
I like
New Mexico too, but yeah, I think it's just right.
All right, well, Danny, you get to piggyback. KP's killing this thing.
Yes,
You got
she
one
is.
more shot at this, okay? Let's go with this one. The most popular 12-over-5. This won't surprise a lot of people. James Madison over Wisconsin. 31% of our brackets have picked that. What do you think?
I think it's too high. I said I have Wisconsin. I need Wisconsin to beat Duke. I have Wisconsin advancing into the next round. I do like Steve Crowell, the big 7-foot big, shoots 45 from 3. I like AJ Storr, their guard that plays really well. They have what they need to win. I do like James Madison as a team that can upset teams, but I need Wisconsin advance to beat Duke.
Here's what we know. Danny's won a lot of games. He did not win this one. No bracket conversations complete without some Final Four picks. So, Danny, who you got in the Final Four?
In the East, I said I like Connecticut. I just don't see them winning back-to-back. I have Auburn. I talked about how good Janai Brown is, or how good that group is, and how much I believe them, and just the matchups of how they play out. I think they can sneak their way into getting the Final Four. In the West, North Carolina, of course, easy pick for me. I think my boys do it this year. Who are they going to face in the championship game? In Midwest, I see Purdue coming out of that. I don't believe them as much as I believe in my boys, but I think this year, bringing the same group back and having that maturity and going through that embarrassment last year, give them extra motivation to actually get it done and get to the Final Four and championship game. So I have Purdue and Carolina in a championship game, but up south, coming out of West, if Marquette is not healthy, I have Kentucky. But I'm banking on Marquette being healthy and getting to the Final Four. I see them upsetting a couple good teams there, but I like Marquette a lot if they can get their point guard healthy. So it's Marquette in the South, Purdue, Midwest. West, I have Carolina. In the East, I have Auburn.
So then you got Carolina, Purdue in the championship game?
Yes, and I have Carolina win it all. It's going to be a fun household for me.
House divided.
Yeah, house divided, but my boys are going to get it done. It's a win-win regardless of who wins in that championship game. If both teams make it, I'm sure my household will be happy either way. I want my boys to win, of course. The wife will be happy, but I don't think Purdue has it what it takes to beat my boys this year.
All right, KP, give me your Final Four.
I'm not going chalk. Not completely. Not completely going chalk. East, UConn. I don't see how anyone beats them. They've just got so much. Like, if you take away their outside shooting, then you've got Donovan Clinton inside. They have so many tools, and they've been there before, so you have that experience as well, and they're very well coached. West, Cinderella story, New Mexico. They're playing the right basketball at the right time, and they have that great balance of the inside-out game that I really like. The South, Kentucky. 7 potential NBA players. I don't know how you win without that. And their star freshmen are just playing their best basketball. And we haven't even talked about Justin Edwards yet, who has just decided in the postseason to actually be the 5-star prospect that he was prior to coming to Kentucky. And then in the Midwest is Creighton. I just think that they play the right way, and the Big East was very challenging this year. And then in the final, it's the Big East Championship. We got the UConn Huskies over the Creighton Blue Jays.
Ooh, I like
her pick. If I didn't pick Carolina, if I didn't go to school there, I think my bracket would look somewhat like hers.
I think he's qualifying this whole thing. Okay, so I'll give you my Final Four. KP, you were so close. You almost had it, and I'll give you you'll find out quickly, as I keep saying, I like balance, I like coaching, I like teams that can beat you a lot of different ways, and I like star power, I like guard play, all the things we like. So I got Connecticut coming out, Carolina coming out. That one's pretty easy. I'm with you on Creighton and then also Kentucky, but I think Kentucky beats Creighton, so we end up with UConn versus Kentucky in the championship game, and UConn goes back-to-back. I want a team that I know that no matter who's having a bad night, somebody can pick up that energy. So I think that's going to be Connecticut. So, KP and I were close, which means...
They're a dangerous team, man, and I do like the makeup of them. I just think this year somebody has to get them. We can't let them win back-to-back.
Most importantly, the two of us differ from him greatly, so the trash talking will be extraordinary. Be sure to get in on the action with Yahoo's Bracket Madness game for both the men's and the women's tournaments. You could win $25,000 in our best bracket contest. It's free to play, so head to yahoo.com/tourney to sign up.